What's up, everyone? Welcome back to another album review video. This one's for June 2025, and I'm excited for this one because there's a bunch of new albums and they were all super good. So let's get into it. Before I start, I just want to say with these opinions that I have, you just got to listen to the album yourself and see how you really like it. Sit down and give it a genuine listen before you make a strong claim on if it's good or not, especially if you're putting out these type of videos. Society just moves so fast, like everything's short videos and people with no attention spans. So that's why I say you just got to sit down and genuinely listen. You can't just play the songs just once, just hear them and be done with it. You know what I mean? You got to listen to it. And I actually talked about that in my last video, the difference between hearing music and listening to music. So if you're interested in me ranting about that, check out my last video. One more thing I want to mention before we hop into this is some of these are albums you got to listen to as an album, front to back. Others, there's going to be songs that I want to point out that I highlight on the album. Maybe I don't like the artist too much, but I took a song from it. So just going over what I listened to. Let's get into it. First off, I got Lil Wayne, The Carter Six. Now, there's a bunch of mixed opinions out there, but a lot of people are saying they don't like it. It's trash. But my opinion on it, his flow is great. There's no surprise there. That's Lil Wayne. You're gonna have that. But personally, I mean, he dropped it on June 6th, which was 6/6/2025. I think he maybe should have waited one more year, do it on 6/6/2026, simply for that six aspect of it. Well, maybe not that because that's triple six. But anyways, I'm just saying it felt rushed. It didn't feel like a completed album. It felt more like a compilation than an album, in my opinion. I just feel like it's kind of thrown together. Like it doesn't feel like a true Carter series album, but you get what you get. But I do want to talk on the song Peanuts to an Elephant because, a lot of people are hating on that one, saying the beat is whack and everything with the elephant on it. But I personally think it's a good song. I mean, the beat's kind of catchy, honestly, and it reminds me of that DS video game with Luigi. You have to find him. I know people said that online. I didn't just make that up. I even saw one referring to a Crash Bandicoot game, and it kind of has that same sound. So maybe that's why I like it. But I mean, his verse wasn't bad on there, so I don't know why it's so hated, but it's just kind of memed at this point. I'll put up a couple of the songs that I liked now, but I do want to say also, if every song sounded like "Welcome to the Carter," this album would be a hit in to Wayne fans at the very least. Because I mean, it's just nonstop bars. Like he's just rapping his ass off, and I love that. So I just wish it felt more like that, and maybe felt more like a mixtape than a compilation album. But it's okay. With that being said, too, I think he may have overestimated the popularity of this album, like how much he was gonna sell and how many people were gonna listen to it. I know he's a legend, but I feel like he should have made it more catered towards Wayne fans. Like I said, I just think that would have gone so much better. And if he just does what he does best and just raps instead of trying out all this different stuff, like sampling Weezer or covering Weezer, I should say, and just stuff like that. It was just kind of whack in my opinion. I did like the song Loki's theme though, and it had a little beat switch where it became a rock song, and I can see why a bunch of hip hop fans don't like that, but I was rocking with it, to be honest. I don't agree with the washed allegations, honestly, but I do think the days of him making a number one album is over. Like I said earlier, I just think with this album like the Carter, with that series, I think it needs to have a mixtape kind of feel instead of a mainstream album feel. But he's gonna do what he wants to do. So not a terrible album, but I didn't really like it too much. Next up, I have Little Sims and her album Lotus. Now, I love this album. It's a super chill album, just a lot of chill songs, couple funky ones on there too. I love the instrumentals all throughout this album. I think they're beautiful. Like on the song Lotus, that was a great song. And I also like how every song is just one word. That's just aesthetically pleasing to me. It is one of those albums you have to listen to more than once because on my first listen, I didn't really like it. Especially I mean, this is my first time listening to a full Little Sims album, which is crazy to say because I know she's got some classics. So I'm gonna get into those, but I just haven't yet. So this was my first one listening to in full, and it was actually really good. I came around to it. Some people don't like her voice, and I can see that in the song. It was called Young. I think she was kind of playing around on it though, but you can really hear her accent, and it's just kind of not my type. Also, I love the concept of the song Blood. It's like a conversation with her brother and they're going back and forth, but they're still rapping in it, but it's supposed to be like a phone call between them two. So that was a really cool concept idea. But basically the whole album, the entire idea of it is said in her lyrics on Lonely, which I'll put up right now. She said, "I was lonely making an album till I realized my story's all that I can pour out." And I just think this is the line that makes the album. Like this is what you kind of have to have in the back of your mind when hearing this. It's kind of like a self-reflecting album, and I feel like you can tell she was in sort of a lonely place when making it. But it was a super good album, and I definitely suggest it. And my takes will be put up here if it's not already. Next up, I have the artist Until Japan with this album. I'm not even gonna try to say it. I remember finding this artist a couple years back. I think it was 2023, and I didn't love him too much because he has that kind of opium sound to his music, which it's good sometimes, but that's just not my type of music. I'm not super into trap music, so But I did like these three songs on the album. The song Pyramids, it'll have your speakers bumping, but I think the outro track might be my favorite. It sounded real nice. It kind of sounds like if Destroy Lonely was good. I said it. Honestly, that's what I think. And it has kind of a Kanye vibe to it with the production, so I love that. But overall, decent album. I think people out there will love it more than I did. Next up, I have McKinley Dixon, Magic Alive. This guy is super talented. I got put onto him last year and I'm so grateful for it. The type of music he makes is jazz rap that is just beautiful. He's just so good and the instrumentals are perfect. This is one of those albums where you just have to listen to it on your own and see what you like off of it. There's got to be at least one song. But I personally think I need to see this man with live band in real life. That would be so cool to witness that. The only other album I've heard from him is Beloved Paradise Jazz, I'm pretty sure it's called, from 2023. And this album is very similar to that one. So if you check him out, check out both of these for sure. Next up, I got JPEG Mafia Veteran Director's Cut. The Director's Cut includes 6 new tracks that didn't make the original track list of Veteran. And he finally got the rights to it, so he was able to put them out in his own words. I'll put it up on the screen here. First, I had to listen to the album Veteran in full for the first time because I never listened to it all the way through. I only heard some songs off of it. And if you've never listened to JPEG Mafia before, I would start with this album. I'd for sure recommend the first 3 songs on the album plus Baby I'm Bleeding. Those are my favorites off of it. But Peggy is one of those artists you have to be in the mood to listen to. It's ear piercing if you're not in the mood for it. But yeah, so for the deluxe version or the director's cut, the first and last song from the director's cut are my favorites. I really liked Millennium Freestyle until he started covering I Want It That Way by the Backstreet Boys. That kind of turned it off for me, but it's still a good song up until then. And honestly, I don't know if he was covering it the whole time, but I do know like the main chorus, he did his own version of that. But I still like the song. But definitely the ski mask song. I forget the name of it. Does this mask make me look fat? That's what it was. That one's my favorite one off the director's cut. Next up, I have Oblee Reed, Line Leaders. Now, this is the last album I listened to. I actually just got done listening to it, and this was amazing. I love this album. Every song, he has these underground rappers on it, but in my opinion, I think they made it. Especially if this sounds selfish, but if I know underground rappers or underground artists in general, I think that makes them classified as not underground anymore. By the time I know them, it's not underground. I feel like. I mean, some of them you probably can label as that, but I know artists who listen or artists who make that kind of music and who aren't super popular yet don't like to be claimed as underground. But anyways, every song on this album has its own vibe, and Oblee Reed is on all of them, and the features just fit so good on this album. Every song is good. There's something for someone. I'll put up my suggestions, but it's basically the whole album. I just left off a few that I wasn't completely loving, but there's not a bad song on this album at all. I want to say too, the artist Junie, she really reminded me of Doja Cat, which is a good thing. I love Doja Cat. at least in that verse. I need to look into her though because she spit. And then also the artist Deb Fan, she sounds like Kali Uchis in my opinion. So I hope those aren't offensive to point an artist sounding like another artist, but it's just reminiscent of that. But my favorite feature is definitely between either Femdot or Chris Patrick on here. I first heard of Chris Patrick from some Redville songs, and now I see him everywhere. It's weird. There's a Reason album that I'll get to later on. He's on that, and he's just so good. Shout out Chris Patrick. The Totem Cipher songs, parts 1 and 2 on this album, they're posse cuts, and everyone snaps on them. Every single person had a great verse. Seeing Jev, Femdot, My Name Isn't J Mac, and all these other artists that I recognize their names, but I'm not super tapped into, is just so dope. Like I just love seeing all of this on here as a collaborative project. It's just super dope to me. And the fact that it's technically an Oakley Reed album is even better. Like he's so good and he deserves to have this hype onto him because he's one of the best rappers out right now, honestly. The album even starts out with this feature by this guy named Travis Thompson. And I remember seeing him on a Macklemore song back in like 2017. It's called Corner Store. I loved that song in middle school. I would bump it all the time. So seeing his name was like, wow, like there's just so many people that I love on this album. It's just I love this album so much. There's not a single bad song. Next up, I have Juicy J and Logic, Live and in Color. Kind of a weird name, but I like it. Maybe it's Live and in Color. Yeah, I might be wrong about that. Basically, it is a Juicy J album where Logic is interviewing him, asking him questions about his career and his life. And it's Logic produced, which is dope because just like some of these other artists, I love Logic's production more than anything because you know he's a little corny, but I kind of grew up and throughout middle school listening to Logic. So, but I even recognized then that yeah, he's kind of corny sometimes, but I love him with all due respect. Like he's a great artist, he's a great producer, and he has an ear for it, and I love that. I've always loved his production skills, and it also sounds like they're having fun on this album, and I love that. I mean, they said that they're like best friends, which I had no idea about. And it has some great features on it too, like spoiler alert, because they're hidden features. So spoiler alert, there's Project Pat on it, there's Wiz Khalifa. It's just to name a few. Also, almost every other track is a discussion track, one, two, and so on. And there's 8 of them total. So it's a 21 track album, but it's really 13 songs. So if you skip those discussion ones where he's interviewing him, um, it's still a good album. The production's all there, and these 2 songs are my favorite. Next is Lil Tecca Dopamine. The transitions were clean throughout this album. In the last 20 seconds or so of each song, the next beat starts, so it allows for a good transition. And these are always so clean on Tecca albums, to be honest. In my opinion, though, all Tecca songs have kind of the same vibe, and it does get old to me. But Dark Thoughts was my favorite. It's the lead single off the album, and Lil Tecca himself said that it's actually a Pharrell type beat that he found on YouTube. So that's probably why I like it so much because Pharrell's probably my favorite producer of all time. So that makes sense. Owa Owa, I don't know if I'm saying that right, is dope and catchy. It samples the song Video Killed the Radio Star in 1979. And yeah, it's a good sample. It samples the Owa O part of the song. And it's just super dope and catchy in my opinion. I'm not a Tekka fan, so I didn't love the album, but you see my suggestions now. Next up, I got Casey Before I Was Born. Casey is so underrated. I discovered him a couple years ago and he's just super slept on. I wish he was more popular. And I will say, I feel like every album that he puts out, it gets better and his style is definitely maturing. With that being said, though, I didn't absolutely love this album. There's some times where he's rapping and it's not super on beat, it's kind of offbeat. But the song Studio I've had on repeat since it came out. I'm Schoolboy Q in the studio. I love that line so much. I'm super excited to see what Casey continues with in the future, though. I'm fully rooting for this guy, so go him. Go check him out if you don't know him already. Next is Reason, I Love You Again Extended. So the first 10 songs came out in February, and this extended version add 7 more songs onto that. It's my first time listening to this at all, so I listened to all 17. And he did a lot of talking. He talked a bunch on this album, but there's probably about 5 songs where he's just talking and thanking his fans, which is dope. You know, I'm all for it. All love and appreciation for real. I do like when he truly raps though. That's my favorite out of him because he can sing too, but I like when he raps more. I'll throw up some of my suggestions now, but the song 100 Freestyles with Ben Riley, that threw me off. Ben Riley is on this album. That's so cool. But he sampled We Major by Kanye, and that blew me away. Hearing this sample, my jaw dropped. I'm getting chills right now just thinking about it because that song is so iconic, and sampling that and using it is so cool. It's like listening to We Major but with fast rapping on it, and it's just so dope to me. Next is Bass and the Hicks, Melon Chronica. I hope I'm saying all that right. I've never been able to say his name right, honestly. Don't got much to say about it. My suggestions are already up, so you know this review is short. It's a lovely, loving R&B album. That's what I'll say, and it's just great instrumentals all throughout. Nice chill album. Next up, I have Kevin Abstract Blush. I love this one. This is super good album. On my first listen, I didn't like it, but again, it's one of those albums you just got to keep listening to, and you'll see how good it is. Truly, I also think this album had perfect features. Like it makes so much sense with who's on what song. Like for example, the song Nola has JPEG Mafia on it, and Peggy just snaps on it. It's that his kind of beat. It fits perfectly. There were some songs where I was waiting for it to go somewhere, like have a beat drop or something, but most of it was just vibes. So perfect background music or whatever. I love it. But yeah, the production was beautiful on this album, and the more I listen, the more I like it. Next up, I have Lord's album, Virgin. Now, this was a very self reflecting pop album, and I didn't love it, to be honest, but I'm not super into pop. I just figured, Lord is pretty cool, and I don't think she's released an album for a while, so I wanted to check it out. It really is self reflecting, though, because she mentioned recently going through an ego death, which is a serious thing that happens if you take shrooms or some psychedelics. You can go through what's called an ego death, and that really just changes your whole perspective on yourself and life in general. But as far as the music, I think it's a good album, just not my type of music. But shout out Lord though. Hope you're chilling, hope you're okay. Shout out you. Lastly, I have Pierre Bourne, Made in Paris. Now the media loves this album. I do not. I've realized that I'm not into trap music as much as I used to be. I am rocking with the wee wee ad lib on Bon Appetit though. As track 3, I thought that was pretty cool. The description for this album on Apple Music has shown me a good perspective on this type of music. It's trap music, and it's the kind of thing that you don't have to listen too hard to. It's mostly about the beats, and his rapping ability is getting better, but his beats are what make it. Think of someone like Uzi too. Like he's good. I mean, I that's a touchy subject. I feel like with some people because Uzi's a great rapper, but he just doesn't do a lot of rapping in his music. Like it's mostly focused on the beats, I feel like. But that's just how trap music is, and that's why I like rap music better than trap. But yeah, this album is just the type of music that you don't have to really listen to what he's saying. Like he repeats lyrics a bunch, and it's kind of repetitive. But it's not a bad album. I mean, I can see especially younger people really rocking with this album. It's exactly what I've described as music for the ears. That's another one of those things that I went over in my last video, so you should check it out. But yeah, the production's good. It's futuristic sometimes, but I've just come to the full conclusion that I'm not a huge fan of trap music anymore. I mean, this was a 65-minute album, and it took me 3 different listening sessions to get through it because it gave me a headache. So maybe it's just I'm getting older. I don't know what it is. There were some albums that I couldn't get to. I'm pretty sure they all released. I didn't check this, but Slick Rick, Kodak Black, Russ, and Jello. I was gonna listen to those and review those, but I didn't get to it. But I will afterwards. I'm just not gonna do a video on them. But here are my singles of the month. It's the Mavi song as well as the Offset and Jid song. And I want to say I'm super excited for this Jid album to come out in August, but I'm even more excited for the Clips album to release July 11th. Coming soon. That's going to be hype. So let me know what you thought about this video. I hope more people are tapped in and you see what my channel is kind of about. I love doing these album reviews, and I love talking to people about it. So drop a comment, argue with me, fuck it, let's do it. But that's all for today. So peace.